An arrest warrant in the death of that American tourist, Shanquella Robinson. Investigators say they believe the 25-year-old was killed.
On October 29th, it will mark 2 years since Shanquella Robinson tragically died while vacationing in Mexico with 6 of her friends. She was just 25 at the time. Despite Mexican authorities stating that they believe Robinson's death resulted from a physical attack, no arrests have been made. The FBI has launched its own investigation into the case. With so much evidence available, why is justice taking so long? Once a rising star in the world of fashion, Shanquella Robinson's life was cut short, leaving behind unanswered questions and a sense of betrayal. The internet still buzzes with outrage over the leaked video of her terrifying final moments, surrounded by the very people she called friends. Her death is not only a story of loss, but a painful reminder of how deeply betrayal can be cut. What could have driven her friends to such extremes? The FBI's ongoing investigation continues to uncover shocking details, suggesting her death may have been meticulously planned. Let's take a closer look at this heartbreaking journey and the fight for justice. Shanquella Robinson's background. Born on January 9th, 1997, to Bernard and Salamandra Robinson, Shanquella was not only a social media influencer and successful entrepreneur, but also the founder of a women's fashion brand. From an early age, Shanquella showed a strong business drive, which she further developed while studying at Winston-Salem State University, where she earned her degree. Her academic background and determination laid the groundwork for her success in the business world. After graduation, Shanquella returned to her hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, to pursue her passion for fashion and beauty. She started several businesses, including boutique beauty services and children's hair braiding under the Exquisite Kids and Exquisite Boutique brands. Her ventures quickly became well known, reflecting her hard work, creativity, and business acumen. Beyond her professional achievements, Shanquella was also a philanthropist and motivational speaker. She was deeply involved in her community, known for her generosity and support for local causes, including youth education. Her businesses not only offered services, but also fostered a sense of community and empowerment for many women, youth, and children in Charlotte. Shanquella Robinson's vibrant personality and passion for her work made her a role model for young women aiming to thrive in the fashion and beauty industries. Her social media presence, alongside her business achievements, amplified her influence. With over 14,000 followers on Instagram and a growing presence on TikTok, Shanquella used these platforms to share her engaging personality, unique style, fashion tips, travel experiences, and entrepreneurial journey. Her social media success significantly contributed to her estimated net worth of $1 million, becoming a key source of income. Shanquella was truly living her best life, but things took a tragic turn during a trip to Cabo. What began as a trip with friends quickly turned dark as tensions and conflicts escalated, blurring the line between allies and adversaries. The Cabo trip. Friends or foes? On October 28, 2022, Shanquella Robinson traveled to Mexico for a brief vacation with a friend and 5 other travel companions: Khalil Cook, Malik St. Patrick Dyer, Winter Essence Donovan, Elise Michelle Hyatt, Dejani Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins, collectively referred to as the Cabo Six. The group arrived at their luxury rental villa at the Puerto Los Cabos resort in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. The villa, which boasted 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a pool, cost $1,600 per night and was booked and paid for by Shanquella. Soon after arriving, Shanquella called her mom, Salamandra. According to Salamandra, Shanquella sounded thrilled. "Hey, Mom, we're having a blast here. We just got to the villa and there's a chef cooking for us. We're about to have some taco salad. I'll call you tomorrow. Love you." That would be the last conversation Salamandra had with her daughter. On October 29th, just a day after their arrival, at approximately 2:13 p.m., A doctor from the American Medical Center in Cabo San Lucas was called to the resort because a guest was feeling unwell. Around the same time, Shanquella's mother, Shanquella Robinson, received a call from one of the travel companions informing her that Shanquella had fallen ill and that a doctor was en route. Dr. Carolina Beatriz Ornelas Gutierrez arrived within an hour and found Shanquella in a concerning state: dehydrated, disoriented, and verbally unresponsive, with signs that she might be intoxicated. The travel companions explained to the doctor that Shanquella had been drinking heavily. Despite the doctor's recommendation to hospitalize Shanquella, her companions insisted that she be treated at the villa. During the medical treatment at the luxury villa, Dr. Carolina Beatriz Ornelas Gutierrez attempted to administer an IV drip to Shanquella Robinson. However, Shanquella's condition took a turn for the worse. At around 4:13 p.m., roughly an hour after the doctor's arrival, she suffered a tonic-clonic seizure characterized by a stiffening of her body, arms, and legs. By 4:20 p.m., as Shanquella began having trouble breathing and her pulse began to drop, an ambulance was called. Shortly after, she experienced a cardiac arrest. Paramedics arrived at the scene around 4:49 p.m. and began extensive efforts to revive her. They performed 14 rounds of CPR, which included chest compressions and intrathoracic pressure, in addition to administering 5 doses of adrenaline and using a defibrillator for 6 electrical discharges. Despite these attempts to restore her heartbeat, pulse, blood flow, and other vital signs, they were unsuccessful. Shanquella Robinson was declared clinically dead at 5:57 p.m., according to the police report. Later, Nazir Wiggins, one of the group members, claimed that he arrived in Cabo a day later than the others and was unaware of the events that had transpired before his arrival. When he reached the villa, he found Shanquella slumped over a toilet in the bathroom, appearing to suffer from alcohol poisoning. As the group's mood shifted from celebratory to somber, they made a shocking decision. Instead of dealing with the situation on site, they chose to return to North Carolina, leaving Shanquella's body behind in Mexico. However, they took her luggage with them. Upon their return, Khalil Cook personally delivered Shanquella's belongings to her parents' doorstep. This unusual behavior immediately raised suspicions. Her father told the Times that he did not understand why they were allowed to leave Mexico. Why did they leave Shanquella's body in Mexico while bringing her personal belongings back? What were their intentions? And what did they hope to conceal or achieve by their actions? Families' doubts of conflicting accounts. In an interview with ABC News Good Morning America, Shanquella Robinson, Shanquella's mother, revealed that her family grew increasingly suspicious of the inconsistent stories provided by Shanquella's travel companions once they returned home. Each companion offered different accounts of what happened. Some claimed a maid found Shanquella unconscious, others said they called a doctor, and some mentioned that the apartment concierge had made the call. Initially, they reported that Shanquella had died from alcohol poisoning, but later they admitted there had been a fight and that she had been attacked. The discrepancies continued with conflicting reports about where Shanquella was found. One companion told her mother she was discovered unconscious on the floor, another said she was found in a bed, and yet another told her father she was in a chair. During an interview with CBS News, Salamandra noted that her daughter's travel companions initially suggested that alcohol poisoning was the cause of her illness. This diagnosis surprised her, as she had been informed that a doctor was en route to their apartment. She had suggested taking Shanquella to the emergency room, but the companions falsely claimed that her daughter's travel insurance would be useless in Mexico and that the emergency room required $5,000 in cash for treatment. For over 2 weeks, the family worked to convince authorities both in the United States and Mexico that their daughter's death was suspicious and warranted further investigation. In a statement on their GoFundMe page, which was set up to cover the family's legal expenses, Shanquella's sister, Quilla Long, announced their ongoing efforts to uncover the truth. The U.S. State Department claimed there was no clear evidence of foul play. But there's a video circulating showing a woman violently attacking Shanquella, Long said. This statement is unacceptable, and we are beyond devastated. We are committed to fighting for the truth. Public Black social media outcry. Under the dim glow of smartphone screens, Shanquella's final moments spread across social media like a chilling refrain, igniting widespread outrage and disbelief. As the video quickly went viral, it sparked a surge of public outcry, with calls for justice reverberating online through hashtags like #Justice for Shanquella Robinson and #Say Her Name. Communities rallied in support of the Robinson family, amplifying their calls for accountability. Social media users sprang into action, sharing the names, photos, social media profiles, addresses, employers, and even birth certificates of those believed to have been with Shanquella in Mexico. They demanded justice, calling for the arrest and prosecution of those involved. Black social media, especially Black Twitter, played a crucial role in the Shanquella Robinson case. In recent years, social media has become a powerful tool for amplifying voices and driving social justice, filling gaps left by mainstream news coverage. Sher Williams, a professor of race, media, and communication at American University, emphasized the importance of these platforms. She explained that Black communities have long felt sidelined by mainstream media, leading them to use social media as a tool to amplify their voices and share their stories. This grassroots approach has proven to be highly effective. On platforms like Twitter, Black social media users have been instrumental in bringing attention to cases that might otherwise be overlooked. Their persistent activism kept Shanquella Robinson's story in the spotlight, forcing mainstream media to pay attention and follow the developments closely. The power of social media in Shanquella's case. On November 9th, hip-hop blogger Amina Cain posted a moving photo and tweet, "Rest in power, Shanquella Robinson." Her heartfelt message quickly went viral on Twitter, garnering over 177,000 retweets, and soon spread to TikTok, where users incorporated her tweet into their videos, amplifying awareness of Robinson's tragic death. Reflecting on the unexpected viral impact of her post, Cain shared, "I never expected it to go viral. I never do anything with the intention of going viral. I was emotionally invested in the story." Cain had started investigating Robinson's death after hearing about it on a local news outlet. Her genuine concern and commitment resonated with many, sparking a wave of digital activism that drew significant attention to Shanquella's story. Salamandra Robinson, Shanquella's mother, expressed deep gratitude for the support from Black social media users, acknowledging that their widespread attention was crucial in pushing for justice. She noted that without this digital activism, the case might have been dismissed as a mere alcohol poisoning incident, overshadowing the troubling signs of foul play. "I'm thankful for everyone working so hard to seek justice. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer," she said. Support extended beyond social media, with a successful GoFundMe campaign raising over $363,000 for the family. Additionally, hundreds of family, friends, and supporters came together to attend Shanquella's funeral, demonstrating the community's widespread mourning and solidarity. FBI and Mexican authorities' involvement, the escalating protests over Shanquella Robinson's murder caught the attention of both the general public and lawmakers. As social media campaigns went viral and disturbing video evidence surfaced, authorities had no choice but to take action. The FBI and Mexican police rushed to investigate what happened to Shanquella in Cabo. Once the case gained national attention, Mexican authorities revised their initial ruling and confirmed to the Daily Beast and WBTV News that they were now treating Robinson's death on October 29th as a homicide. They later reclassified the case as femicide, indicating that her gender may have been a factor in the crime. This classification could result in severe penalties, with potential sentences of up to 60 years in prison if convictions are secured. The State Attorney General's office in Mexico, which is leading the investigation, stressed that femicide is their primary focus. This shift suggests that Robinson's death may have been premeditated, possibly planned before she left North Carolina. Meanwhile, the FBI began investigating Robinson's death, prompted by a viral video showing her being assaulted. Public scrutiny also grew over the apparent inaction of her friends during the attack, raising concerns about possible collusion. Adding to the suspicion, another leaked video from the trip suggested premeditated actions by the group, sparking doubts about their intentions and behavior toward Shanquella. Many questioned why the group seemed determined to keep Shanquella in the dark about their discussions, further casting suspicion on their motives during the trip. Their quick return to the United States after Shanquella's death and the decision to leave her body in Mexico intensified public skepticism. Many believed the trip might have been a cover for harming Shanquella and avoiding justice in Mexico. Social media exploded with fierce accusations against Shanquella's entire friend group, suggesting they meticulously planned her tragic death with premeditated intent. In response to what many perceived as a deliberate attack, there were widespread calls for severe legal consequences. Mexican authorities also began examining the actions of two officers and Dr. Gutierrez, who spent significant time at Shanquella's villa before her death. There are discrepancies between the police report and the autopsy findings, leaving questions about whether the doctor who treated Robinson was aware of her broken neck and if any diagnosis of neck injuries was made under the conditions of a hotel room. This uncertainty underscores the complexity of the medical assessment performed during that crucial period. The shocking autopsy. What truly happened on that fateful day in Cabo San Lucas? The unexpected findings in Shanquella's autopsy report forced her family to reevaluate the initial narrative surrounding her death. The report revealed startling details that contradicted earlier assumptions, prompting a deep and urgent reassessment of the circumstances leading to her tragic passing. This revelation set Shanquella's family on a path of intense scrutiny and inquiry. They were driven to uncover the truth behind the events of that day, leading to a determined quest for justice and closure. On November 10, 2022, nearly 2 weeks after Shanquella's death, her family finally received the autopsy report from the Cabo coroner. The document became a critical piece in their ongoing effort to understand the full scope of what transpired and to seek accountability for her loss. The findings were both startling and revealing. Shanquella did not die from alcohol poisoning as initially believed. The autopsy report uncovered that she had suffered a severe spinal cord injury and atlas subluxation, an unstable or excessive movement between the first two vertebrae in the neck. Crucially, the report made no mention of alcohol, contradicting her friend's claims and suggesting an attempt to cover up the true cause of her death. Even more shocking was the timing of the injury. The autopsy indicated that Shanquella's injury occurred at 3 p.m., and she passed away just 15 minutes later. This sharply contrasts with the earlier police report, which had recorded the time of death as 5:57 p.m. Salamondra Robinson, Shanquella's mother, immediately sensed that something was terribly wrong. Her initial doubts about the story Khalil had shared with her deepened when she discovered that Shanquella had been involved in a fight, an important detail Khalil had conveniently omitted. As Salamondra spoke with others who were on the trip, the inconsistencies in their accounts only fueled her suspicions. One person claimed that a maid had found Shanquella in the bathroom, but these conflicting stories made it clear to Salamondra that someone was hiding the truth about what really happened to her daughter. "No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway," Salamondra said in an interview. Adding to the shock, when Khalil returned Shanquella's belongings, he continued to insist that she had died from alcohol poisoning. Khalil wasn't just an acquaintance. He was someone the family knew well. He had frequently visited their home and even joined them on family trips, making his claims even more troubling and suspect to Salamondra. After returning from Cabo, Khalil continued to visit the family's home, maintaining the appearance of a close friend. However, everything changed dramatically with the release of the autopsy results. The truth about Shanquella's death hit like a thunderbolt, shattering any pretense of normalcy and leaving the family in profound shock and disbelief. In a recent interview, when asked, "When was the last time you heard from him?" Salamandra responded, "I haven't heard from him since the autopsy results came back, which has been about 2 or 3 weeks. He disappeared as soon as the truth was revealed." On November 12, 2022, the family paid $6,000 to have Shanquella's body transported back to North Carolina. When Salamandra saw her daughter's body, she was immediately struck by the visible signs of trauma, including clear bruises. At that point, Salamandra was unaware of the full extent of what had happened. She didn't know that a doctor had been present during Shanquella's final moments or about the discrepancies between the reports. Leaked video. Desperate for answers, the State Department advised Shanquella's family to hire a private investigator to uncover the truth. With official channels proving unhelpful, the burden of solving the mystery of their daughter's death fell squarely on their shoulders, compounding their grief and frustration. Just when the family was at their breaking point, a jaw-dropping video surfaced, revealing the brutal reality of Shanquella's final moments. This footage, which circulated widely online for weeks, provided a shocking and undeniable glimpse into her fate. The disturbing video that surfaced on Twitter marked the beginning of a flood of viral cell phone footage showing a naked African-American woman being brutally attacked by one of her female acquaintances in a bedroom of their vacation rental. In the video, the attacker, consumed by rage, relentlessly punches Shanquella, delivering a series of violent jabs to her head. The assault moves across the bed, with the attacker violently yanking Shanquella's neck and throwing her to the floor. The brutal beating continues with further blows to Shanquella's face and kicks to her head with the attacker's knee. After the savage assault, the attacker stumbles back to the other side of the room, ending the attack. The footage reveals the presence of at least 2 other people during the altercation. One male is seen filming the attack, while another person films him capturing the event. In the background, a male voice can be heard urging Shanquella to fight back, to which she responds with a firm "no," indicating her refusal to engage in the fight. Upon reviewing the footage, Shanquella's parents confirmed that it was indeed their daughter who was shown being assaulted. In a text message to the Daily Beast, Bernard Robinson confirmed that the young woman being attacked in the disturbing video was indeed his daughter, Shanquella. Social media users quickly identified the assailant as Dejani Jackson, who was reportedly celebrating a birthday at the time. The video, met with shock, disbelief, and revulsion across social media, raised significant concerns. People questioned why no one intervened during the brutal beating of a defenseless woman and why the incident was recorded rather than stopped. Additionally, there was widespread criticism of why the suspects or witnesses in a case involving a femicide or homicide were allowed to return to the United States without facing arrest or interrogation. This passive observation from those who were supposed to be friends only deepens the sense of betrayal and horror surrounding Shanquella's tragic end. Shanquella Robinson's older sister, Quilla Long, expressed her shock and anguish during an interview with GMA, saying, "The video is sickening." She described the moment she learned of her sister's death as overwhelming, recounting how she fell to her knees in disbelief. The exact timing of the video remains uncertain, leaving questions about whether it captures the moment Shanquella sustained her fatal injury. The footage was taken during daylight, suggesting it could have been recorded either when the group arrived at the villa or during the period leading up to her death. Despite the ambiguity about when the video was shot, the brutal nature of the assault is unmistakable, and it is believed to show some of Shanquella's final moments. The public's reaction to this disturbing footage was swift and intense. The video sparked widespread outrage and grief, igniting a wave of support for the Robinson family and intensifying their quest for justice. Arrest warrant. An arrest warrant has been issued in connection with Shanquella Robinson's death, marking a significant development in the case and intensifying the investigation. Authorities now consider her death to be a result of premeditated aggression and have identified a primary suspect among her friends. On November 23rd, officials announced the warrant, revealing that the suspect is a woman but withholding her name. The authorities have made it clear that Shanquella's death was not accidental, but resulted from deliberate violence. Efforts are now underway to extradite the suspect from the United States to Mexico, with coordination from Interpol and the U.S. Department of State. Although the suspect's identity has not been officially confirmed, many believe it to be Dejani Jackson, following the release of a viral video depicting the brutal assault on Shanquella. Despite the issuance of an arrest warrant providing a glimmer of justice, the likelihood of the suspect's extradition to Mexico remains uncertain. Legal experts indicate that there is only a 50-50 chance of the suspect being extradited due to the complexities of the extradition process. This uncertainty arises because U.S. authorities must thoroughly assess and be convinced by the evidence provided by Mexican officials. The process involves intricate legal considerations, including diplomatic relations and adherence to extradition treaties between the two nations. Mexican prosecutors are actively working to extradite the suspect and are collaborating closely with U.S. authorities to advance the case. While Shanquella's family, particularly her mother Salamandra, find some relief in the investigation's progress, they remain steadfast in their resolve. They are committed to ensuring that all individuals involved in Shanquella's death and its subsequent cover-up face justice. Robinson's family have said U.S. authorities failed them. In early March, Shanquella Robinson's family, accompanied by civil rights attorney Ben Crump and a group of activists, traveled to Washington, D.C. to demand justice. At a news conference, Salamandra Robinson, Shanquella's mother, expressed her frustration. "No one has been arrested. The people who know what happened to my daughter are just living their lives. They've returned to work, while my family is left to wait and plead for answers." Her sister, Quilla Long, voiced her disillusionment with the process. "I feel like our government has failed us," she said, highlighting the emotional toll and persistent obstacles the family has faced in their quest for justice. Sue Ann Robinson, an attorney working with Crump's firm and not related to the Robinson family, criticized the U.S. government for inaction. She explained that while the Mexican government had concluded its investigation and shared all relevant information with U.S. authorities, there had been no significant progress from the American side. "The ball is clearly in the United States court," she stated. Crump and Robinson urged the Biden administration, the State Department, and the Department of Justice to make the case a priority. "I plan on speaking with the highest levels of our government to emphasize that Shanquella Robinson is not irrelevant," Crump declared. "She deserves the same dignity and respect as any citizen in the United States." Federal prosecutors will not file charges in Robinson's death. Nearly 6 months after Shanquella Robinson's death, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that it would not be filing charges. The decision followed a detailed and thorough review of the evidence, including Robinson's autopsy results. The Department of Justice stated that it had met with Robinson's family to discuss its findings and expressed a willingness to review any new information that might come to light. In response to the announcement, Sue Ann Robinson, an attorney working with Ben Crump, held a press conference to express the family's dismay. "We're disappointed but not deterred," she said, noting that the findings left the family with more questions than answers. Robinson revealed that the U.S. autopsy did not identify a cause of death or show the spinal cord injury that the Mexican autopsy had reported. "We have video evidence of Shanquella being attacked, yet we are being told there will be no arrest," she said. "It's reminiscent of what we went through with George Floyd, being told that what we're seeing isn't what we're seeing." Ongoing FBI investigation. The pursuit of justice for Shanquella Robinson has gained significant momentum. The FBI confirmed to WBTV that they have launched an investigation into the death of Charlotte resident Shanquella Robinson, who died in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, on October 29, 2022. However, due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, no further details have been disclosed. By early 2023, it was clear that both U.S. and Mexican authorities were intensifying their efforts in the case. The increased focus marked a crucial shift, as federal resources and expertise were now dedicated to uncovering the truth behind Shanquella's tragic death. This heightened attention and cooperation between U.S. and Mexican officials fostered growing hope that answers would soon emerge. In March 2023, Law and Crime Daily reported that Shanquella's family made an urgent plea to the Biden administration. They requested intervention to arrest Dejai Jackson, who is alleged to have organized the ill-fated trip and was identified in a viral video as Shanquella's attacker. The family sought Jackson's extradition to Mexico to face murder charges or, alternatively, prosecution within the U.S. judicial system. According to the Law and Crime investigation, a revised timeline has emerged that challenges the accounts provided by Shanquella Robinson's travel companions. The group arrived at the resort on October 28th and had dinner that evening. Resort staff noted that Shanquella seemed withdrawn during this dinner. The altercation captured in the disturbing video took place between 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. the following morning, as indicated by the position of the sun in the room. By 1:50 p.m., Dejai Jackson had requested medical assistance, and Shanquella was pronounced dead at 5:57 p.m. that day. Later that evening, between 9 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., the group left the resort to dine at a nearby restaurant. They subsequently booked a hotel close to the airport and did not return to their villa. In April 2023, federal prosecutors made an announcement that they would not pursue charges related to Shanquella's death. U.S. Attorneys Andra J. Harriston and Dina J. King, representing the Middle and Western Districts of North Carolina, explained that prosecuting a federal crime requires proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. After a comprehensive review of the investigative materials, they determined that the evidence available did not meet the threshold necessary for federal prosecution. The decision not to pursue federal charges was conveyed to Shanquella Robinson's family, who responded by focusing their efforts on seeking high-level diplomatic intervention. While not dismissing the possibility of pursuing a civil lawsuit, the family, represented by attorneys Ben Crump and Swan Robinson, directed their attention to lobbying the White House and the State Department. They addressed a formal letter to President Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, urging them to take immediate diplomatic action in support of their cause. In May 2023, Yes Weekly reported on further developments in the case, identifying Dejai Jackson, a resident of Jamestown, as the individual accused of assaulting Shanquella. The report provided an update on ongoing investigations, highlighting that while FBI and prosecutorial assessments in April had concluded there would be no federal criminal charges, the case was still under review. Contrarily, Newsweek reported that the FBI had not closed the case as of April, contradicting earlier reports. Additionally, the Robinson family's attorneys expressed frustration with the FBI, criticizing them for delaying a second autopsy until after Shanquella's body had been embalmed. This delay complicated the legal proceedings and hindered their quest for justice. Despite the U.S.-Mexico extradition treaty prioritizing murder charges, legal experts are skeptical about the likelihood of Dejai Jackson's extradition due to the complexities surrounding the case. Although an extradition packet was sent to the U.S. and investigators have flagged numerous issues, the case remains unresolved. As of early 2024, there have been no significant updates. Observers and the public are increasingly frustrated by the slow progress, given the substantial evidence and conflicting witness testimonies that have emerged. The prolonged wait for justice in Shanquella Robinson's case continues to draw attention, leaving many to question why tangible progress has been so elusive. The ongoing search for justice remains a focal point of public interest. Will the relentless efforts of Shanquella's family and their legal team eventually lead to meaningful results? The unanswered questions and the quest for resolution keep the case in the spotlight. What are your thoughts on Shanquella Robinson's case? Share your hopes and opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest developments and insightful content about Shanquella Robinson's case. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.